Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Taylor and
Colleen.
I'm like looking at you in the camera.
I'm looking at you in person, and then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be facing this way.
So for people listening, just listening, we are trying video today. So you'll probably see it on like TikTok or Instagram. Like I don't think we're actually putting it on YouTube or anything.
Which reminder, TikTok and Instagram, you can find us at IGSTTY pod on both Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you.
Yeah. Plug in the pod.
I forgot. Oh, well, we're on episode 11 today.
It's so exciting.
I know.
We're in double digits.
Hell yeah. We're going places in my mind.
Manifest that.
I do every day. So we just, when we were trying to figure out like all this video situation, Colleen's brother called and he told us a creepy story about your old house.
Yeah.
And should we clip it into this?
Yeah, let's
episode?
just clip it in. All right, Mike, your podcast debut.
Tell your story.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live, man.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we have, so in the old Sheffield house on, not Washington Sheffield, but Arizona Sheffield, didn't we both have a dream about seeing this like young girl in like a nightgown just like standing in mom and dad's bedroom doorway?
This sounds like vaguely familiar, actually, now that you say. I thought you meant like the doorway to the house.
No, their bedroom door.
Oh.
She's probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4.
So she like visited you guys in your dreams and you both shared the same dream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yikes. Wait, this is in Arizona? Or you said,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is the same house. I haven't told this story, but you remember how I was like so scared of the baseline killer and I used to sleep with a hammer under my pillow?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that house.
Yeah, the baseline killer was spotted by Goodman.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like our school got shut down because they thought they had like a suspect.
Ooh. That's scary.
Anyways, continue with the description of this
woman. Ghost woman.
I don't know. She was just like 3 or 4, somewhere around that age. She was wearing this like old timey like
3 or
nightgown.
4? Yeah, her age was 3 or 4.
Oh, I was like this woman.
There's 3 or 4 of them.
So it was a ghost child. Okay. Sorry.
Quadruplets. Yeah, I don't know. She's just standing there. Like I don't remember too much from the dream other than just like opening my bedroom door and just seeing her standing there.
Oh, things in the hallway too. So if you knew this house, like there's several, like our bedrooms were right across from each other, right at this time because I wasn't living in the basement bedroom. Living in the basement bedroom.
I wasn't living in the attic yet.
We hadn't shunned her yet.
Yeah. But mine and Mike's bedrooms were right across from each other. So like and then there was like a hallway and our parents' bedroom was like at the very end of the hallway. And then it took like a very like abrupt turn and that was the stairs. So I feel like I remember seeing it from the bottom of, or like my dream was at the bottom of the stairs where Mike was at the top.
You saw me in a nightgown at the top of the stairs?
No. Where your dream was at the top of the stairs and mine was at the bottom of the stairs.
Gotcha. Creepy.
Ew.
That is very creepy.
Thanks.
Yeah, I remember having that dream multiple times.
Ew. I don't remember it multiple times.
I don't remember having it past probably like, I feel like I was having it when I was really young still. And we had like just moved in.
There's also a good chance that once you told me about it, I just started standing at the end of the hallway. I was like, you're dreaming.
This isn't real.
And then in the morning, you're like, I had the same dream too.
Mike, last week I told a story about this guy and he started turning like the pictures in the house upside down and I had to hold myself back. But remember, your when you and your friend would pull pranks in the house, and one of your favorite things to do was just to turn the refrigerator stuff upside down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
But I'd be like, why? And they're like, I don't know.
He's like, it's a good one.
Just creepy enough.
Yes, yeah.
Like a ketchup bottle, unsettling looking at it upside down.
But
Right.
then when
Because
it's
you're like,
upside
is
down,
the
you're
whole
trying to get
refrigerator
the...
upside down, or is it just the ketchup bottle?
Yeah.
I'd just be like, why is this upside down?
All right. Well, thanks, Mike.
Uh,
Happy early
Okay.
happy early birthday.
Happy early
Thanks.
birthday. I thought it was a good story.
It was a good story, and it was funny because he called because we're going to do this like creepy like pub crawl kind of thing, and it's right around his birthday, and he's all excited about it. And he called to like figure out his birthday stuff, and he's like, "What did he say?"
Before he brought up the story,
Yeah,
he was just like, actually, I don't know how that got brought up.
he was like, "What do you?"
What do you dern?
And I was like, "What?"
It's so funny.
And Taylor was like, "He's asking what you're doing."
I know. It's like, you should know.
But so we're trying to figure this all out, and like how many like ghost detector mechanisms, EMFs that we have, and all of that stuff. And so he's asking about that, and then I was like, "Well, we're just about to start the podcast," and he's like, "Oh, well, have you talked about this?" And I'm like, "No,
I haven't, but that's a good starter.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for that. But yeah, we're going to a ghost pub crawl with her brother, and then Norman, who edits our podcast. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna try. We should probably take some videos and stuff too, because I
For
think
sure.
Norman actually said that if he gets audio, he'll put it on here. So listen for that episode, because
Yeah.
if we get some ghost voices. Well, Colleen looks scared, as you can see visually. I know. I forgot we're on camera.
I know. I was like, I'm trying to stop them from bringing the spirit box and stuff.
She
I'm
said
over
she was
here
gonna bring Sage. I'm like, don't you dare. I'm trying. You get rid of the ghosts. You're just like ghost busting
I'm
every
over
bar
here
we
with just
go
covered in
into.
crucifixes and stuff.
They don't let you in. Anyway, those are our plans. But
Yeah.
have you been up to anything since I last saw you?
I'm pretty sore right now.
Oh, yeah.
Kicked a whole bunch. But other than that, nothing too exciting.
Yeah.
Tonight's the finale of White Lotus.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Seb said he was reading I think Mike White posted something that they're like everyone's gonna hate him. So I'm like, who is he gonna kill?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I feel like we'll be talking about it on the next episode.
Yeah. I feel like we have our theories, but I feel like
I feel I don't really have any anymore. I know you do, and I think Seb had you guys
we
were talking about it last time. I feel like the theory you had told me originally was actually that was a really good one, like with the monkeys.
the monkey.
You said like, what if something crazy happens and it's just like the monkeys that are shooting the guns?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
The monkey? No.
Yeah.
My theory is that
I swear you did.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
Maybe.
Because you were like, I could see them doing something really weird. Like,
I do not recall.
maybe you said the monks. But why would they do that? They're peaceful.
Yeah. My theory was that like when they were talking on the phone and they were like, you know, the FBI agents are coming with the southern guy. I swear to God, I did not say monkey.
Swear you did. Why? It was a good
Well,
theory.
if it's right, then I'll take credit for it.
Peter's just staring at me like, calm down.
Yeah, he's like, you guys need to chill.
Anyway. Oh. kind of off topic, but not really. Since your brother was talking about that house, because we used to live pretty close to each other, and that's the house, right? Do you remember us talking about how we used to see like phantom cats in our peripheral vision?
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, I do. Like we would just like, and then
like they wouldn't be there when you turn around.
Didn't that have a meaning? Isn't that what
I think we did look it up, but I was thinking about it the other day.
Yeah, because we remember we would go like running or walking around that one like big loop.
Yeah.
And it was like white cats specifically, I thought, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember I was like, I don't have a white cat. And that was like, because I always had like a black, orange, or gray one. And then you didn't have a white cat either, right? They were.
Well, no, Tucker was white.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But
did I know Tucker? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. I did. Yeah. That was like right in the beginning when I first met you. But
yeah. But like it wasn't even just like being at home. It would be like just walking around and you'd see like a cat. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought of that the other day. And because I feel like it was during that time. And I don't remember when it stopped happening because I feel like I don't really anymore. Do you?
I don't think so. I feel like there are times where, and maybe it really is, but like there will be times where I'm like at home and I'll see like something like flutter, but we have a lot of pigeons, so like and we have a lot of windows, so I always wonder if it's just like the pigeon flying.
Oh, like in the window?
Yeah, because like we get that a lot, especially in our upper bedroom, because we have those windows that are like up high and it's right by the roof, and that's where the pigeons all hang out. So there are times where I'm just like, whoop.
You're like, who's that? Yeah. I feel like I always see things in the corner of my eyes too, but then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because I always look and then nothing's there. Like not specifically an animal though. Yeah, like just I feel like I'll see movement or something. Does it happen to you too? Yeah, I mean I feel like that again, especially like because of where we live, I'm always on the like lookout for squirrels. Yeah. I'm like, ugh. What was that on the wall? Like that kind of thing. Or like the dogs like seem to be interested in something. I'm like, what do you remember? There was one time I was on the phone with you and I was like, is it the one that was on the doorway? No. I think it's happened a couple of times. Maybe. Yeah. But there was one time where I was on the phone with you and I remember my cat like she was like doing the like pitter patter thing. And I was like, Luna, what do you have? And I was like, it's a scorpion. And all you could hear, and you're like, I just heard you just banging. Like, I do remember that. You like probably didn't even hesitate. Yeah. You just killed him. Grabbed that golf club, smashed him dead. And you're like, Kyle, have fun cleaning the golf club. Yeah. Wrap tape around it, pick up all of the like remnants, throw it in the backyard. Kyle's problem now. And scorpions can be really dangerous to your animals. Exactly. And I've never been stung, but if you have seen these things, you don't want them in your house, okay? And you're forced to kill them, okay? I have been stung. Yeah, I remember in your pocket, right? Yeah. Ugh. At work. I don't. I feel like, I'd probably be like taking off my pants. Most embarrassing story of all time. It's more scarier than a ghost story. So, I'm gonna get into my story. Cool. If you have anything else, or no, nothing. All my stuff was not good. I loved it all. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so Colleen, I've got something to tell you, and I am going to be covering the Superstition Mountains. Yes. Okay, I'm super excited. I changed it last minute. I was like, I'm gonna do something like I'm super interested in it because if you've been to the Superstition Mountains, there's something like just it's the way it's shaped. It's like, well, okay, so I read that like millions of years ago there was like a volcanic eruption or something, and that's why they're jagged like that. Oh, really? And I thought that was weird, but there was like a few sources that said that, so I was like, okay, maybe. Like I didn't know that, but it's a very like eerie mountain. I feel like it has a lot of like shadows and a lot of like crevices you can go into. There's so many theories. But it's also like beautiful. Yeah. I think it's so pretty. The hiking is amazing, but like if you like
I really hate when you go with people and they're like, this is, I'm like, stop.
Like, I'm here for the hike, okay? And the scenery.
I'm already being brave.
It's like this, it's kind of a long trail to get up to the mountain. But it's like the trail up to the mountain is so pretty and scenic. And then once you get to the mountain, that's like a whole other hike.
Yeah.
And there's so many different trails. But anyway. So the Superstition Mountains sits at the end of the Tonto National Forest in Arizona, and it's filled with paranormal stories. The area is filled with ancient cliff dwellings and caves, many showing evidence of past inhabitants. While it's unclear who these people were, some speculate they were the Salado or Hohokam tribes who lived in this region of Arizona centuries ago. Later, the Pima and Apache tribes, and possibly including the Yavapai groups, settled here. Over time, the Apache became strongly linked to the mountains, and by the 1800s, the Superstitions had become an Apache stronghold. In the 1840s, the Peralta family from northern Mexico is said to have discovered rich gold mines in the Superstition Mountains. Their final expedition to transport gold back to Mexico took place in 1848, and according to the legend, the group was ambushed by Apaches, and everyone was killed except for 1 or 2 members of the Peralta family, who managed to escape into Mexico. This area is now called the Massacre Grounds. The Apache tribe buried the gold and covered the mine to prevent any outsiders from finding it again. And over the years, several people were rumored to have known the location of the mine or even worked there. Numerous maps have surfaced only to be lost or misplaced when people started searching for the concrete information. Many who claim to have found the Peralta found the Peralta mine either couldn't return or they were met with disaster before they could file a claim, further fueling the myth of the lost mine. So now we're gonna get into the Lost Dutchman, which we know.
Yeah.
And that's like a pretty big, well-known trail there. So in the 1870s, Jacob Waltz, also known as the Dutchman, he was originally from Germany, though, is believed to have found the mine with the help of a descendant of the Peralta family. Waltz and his partner, Jacob Weiser, reportedly worked the mine and supposedly hid 1 or more stashes of gold in the Superstitions.
I feel like that was like a big thing, right? Like that people would like go out and like try and find the hidden treasures.
Yeah, and like they think it's like cursed because they're always watching because that's their gold.
Yeah, they're like, gotcha.
Yeah. Most tales suggest the gold is near Weaver's Needle, a famous landmark in the area. And on their search, they were attacked. Allegedly. So Waltz somehow managed to survive, though he was left severely injured. Weiser wasn't as fortunate. The two were likely ambushed by Apaches, according to them, or according to Waltz, because Weiser didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's rumors that Waltz actually killed him.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
gold makes people greedy, and like that kind of, yeah. I feel like that amount of fortune would make someone greedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Later, a body was discovered and identified as Weiser's, though coroners couldn't determine whether his wounds were caused by Apache weapons or American-made knives. So yeah, I feel like he was killed by him.
It seems super sketch to me.
Very sketch. Waltz moved to Phoenix, where he lived in poor health for the next 2 decades. Before his death in 1891, he befriended a woman named Julia Thomas. And Julia had been caring for him during the sick period of his life. And in return, he told her about like the location of the mine and how to get there and all that. So in 1892, Julia sold her possessions to fund an expedition and team up with 2 brothers, Herman and Reinhardt.
Don't do it.
It's like Reinhardt?
Reinhardt?
I've never heard that name. Have you?
Like a football player named Reinhardt?
I don't know. Like the first name's Reinhardt.
Oh, the first name is Reinhardt. I kind of like it.
Reinhardt.
Yeah.
It sounds like a badass name.
Yeah. I'm digging that. That's cool.
It'd be cool if he found the gold.
Okay. Does he? Oh, well, I'll wait.
Nobody finds the gold. Plot twist. Or spoiler, I guess.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it.
I mean, yeah. Nobody's gonna find the gold.
Oh my God.
So the only issue was that Julia and Herman were both drunk at the time Waltz shared the mine's location. They had a foggy memory of the details. Armed with a wagon, supplies, and crew, they set out on the dangerous trails of the Superstition Mountains. But their search didn't really go anywhere.
They're like, we think there's a left over here somewhere.
Like, I think he said it was by a cactus.
Reinhardt, what do you think?
I know. Where's Reinhardt in all this? It's just Herman and Julia. Yeah, so after 3 weeks of trying, the group was overcome by dehydration and returned to Phoenix almost as in bad of shape as Waltz had been 20 years earlier.
Oh my God.
The brothers continued searching for the mine, obsessively driven by the promise of its riches. Meanwhile, Julia moved on, married a farmer, and she created the first maps of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine for those daring enough to go look for it. Which I'm like, where's that? We should go look.
Receipts.
I know. Let's see. Adolf Ruth. It's a hard name to say for me. I don't know why.
Don't like the name Adolf.
Adolf, not Hitler. He was an amateur explorer, veterinarian, and treasure hunter. And he brought national attention to the legend of the Lost Dutchman's mine. In June 1931, at the age of 66, Ruth set out to find the elusive mine but disappeared. About 6 months later, his skull was found with 2 bullet holes. And along the Salt River, a bottle was discovered in Miami. So Miami's a town in Arizona. Because when I read that, I was like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Containing a note signed by Ruth. It read, "I'm sitting under a tree in a creek with a leg broke. I've got to have help quick. Finder of this note, please give it to Howard Peterson. P.S. Have found the Lost Dutchman." So crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So I guess technically someone did find it, but they died. Mm-hmm. His disappearance and death became a nationwide sensation, and the mine's dark and mysterious history gained widespread attention. Since then, numerous other strange deaths and disappearances have occurred in the Superstition Mountains. In the mid-1940s, the headless body of prospector James A. Cravey was discovered. Author Barry Stone, in his 1945 book, Thunder God's Gold, claimed to have narrowly escaped
Thunder Gods.
That's like one of the, I didn't write about it in here, but the myths, like they believed in something called the Thunder God, and I don't want to get it wrong, which tribe it was, so... But, and I probably should have went over that since I'm mentioning the book. No, you're good. But they said they claimed to have escaped a sniper known as Mr. X. Very mysterious.
Okay, this is very Avengers to me at this point.
I know. Yeah, so that's one story. Moving on. Okay. In late 2009, hiker Jesse Capon from Denver disappeared in the Tonto National Forest. His body was found 3 years later in November 2012, tucked into a crevice, and he was found by a local search team. So weird that he was like tucked into one.
Yeah.
On July 11th, 2020.
I did the same thing.
You did? Okay, I'm glad, because I was just like, really?
It's hard, okay?
2020.
There's a lot of talking that goes into podcasts.
There is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in July 11th, 2010, 3 more hikers vanished in the Superstition Mountains while searching for the mine. January 2011, 3 sets of remains believed to be theirs were recovered. Okay. Moving on to the hauntings. And creepy shit. So, for years, hikers and campers have shared unsettling experiences in the Superstition Mountains.
Oh, I didn't know you can camp in the Superstitions?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, sub-camped in the Superstitions.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know if it's like certain areas you have to. I mean, the last time I went hiking there, I saw someone going off trail. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but
probably not.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I mean, based on these stories, probably
you
shouldn't.
Probably shouldn't. I wouldn't dare.
I would go camping there.
Have fun.
Never mind. Okay.
I just don't like camping. That's why. They have like those. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Sorry, getting off topic, but not really because it's the Superstitions. But they have like these little cabins at the base of the Superstition Mountains.
Oh wait, now that you say that, I feel like I remember those because me and my brother have hiked it a few times, and now that sounds vaguely familiar. I would do that. Would that be?
I would do that.
Okay.
As long as
I'll accommodate the spooky, you accommodate the camping.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
It better have air conditioning though, that's all I'm saying.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get possessed and you are worried about air conditioning.
I'm like, as long as bugs can't creep in.
Taylor.
We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
I thought I was making what I'm committing to.
You were getting a real good deal out of this.
I know I am. And it's me ruining it this time.
Fine, we won't.
Maybe. Let me just look up pictures.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, hauntings. For years, hikers and campers have shared unsettling experiences in the Superstition Mountains. People have heard eerie voices echoing through the canyons, seen shadowy figures lurking in their peripheral, and some have even reported full-bodied apparitions roaming the wilderness. So some people have claimed to see a man in old-fashioned miner's attire, like standing at the top of a ridge, and as they got closer, he just disappeared. Other hikers have spoken of hearing faint, desperate cries for help that seem to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. One couple hiking near Weaver's Needle reported hearing what sounded like a man calling out from a nearby ridge. When they climbed to investigate, they found no one there, only an abandoned campfire still smoldering. They hurried back down the trail, but the voice continued to follow them for nearly a mile before suddenly falling silent and just cutting off. This kind of reminded me of like a skinwalker situation.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Because they, I've read stories where they'll lure people with either sounding like someone you know or just sounding like someone crying for help to get you to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So creepy.
Yeah, I don't love that.
And more recently, modern hikers have shared stories of feeling disoriented or led astray by strange lights flickering in the distance. Some describe hearing footsteps behind them only to turn around and find no one there. A few have even claimed that they lost hours of time with no memory of what transpired during their absence. And that seems to be a theme.
That's like the Duendes thing where they lured the dude and then all of a sudden it was like 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. I feel like lost time is another crazy like glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Love those. And I feel like some people have said like superstitions could be like a portal too.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's not in here, but I know I've heard it somewhere.
I've definitely heard that before too.
Yeah. So another story comes from a man named Eric who ventured out on a solo hike to capture the rugged beauty of the mountains through his camera. As evening approached, he spotted a faint light moving along the ridge ahead, resembling a lantern being carried by someone. Thinking it was another hiker, he sped up to catch up. However, as he got closer, the light suddenly veered off the trail and disappeared into the brush. He followed it and then soon found himself in unfamiliar clearing, far from the trail he had been on, and his watch revealed that almost 3 hours had passed, though he had no memory of how he ended up there, only the light that led him astray from
That's crazy.
I know. And crazy that a lot of people have the same experiences there.
Yeah.
Many people have reported strange lights hovering over the Superstition Mountains at night, and they describe glowing orbs moving through the canyons, while others have seen flickering lantern-like lights drifting steadily along the ridges. One hiker shared an experience where he and his friends were suddenly jolted awake by the sound of pickaxes striking stone in the dead of night. You still want to sleep there?
How do you, like, what do you do to get, like, I'm just going to bring a needle and pop the orbs.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. You told me. A bug zapper, zap zap.
They're like, okay, so after they heard the pickaxes striking stone.
The pickaxes.
Oh, God. I'm doing great.
You're doing fantastic.
Thank you. They came out of their tents to investigate, and the sounds abruptly stopped, leaving only the silence, which in the desert, it's like pitch black, silent, spooky.
Well, the orbs might light it up a little.
Maybe. But I feel like they're all like on the same team, and they're going to make sure it's dark.
You're right.
When you go out there.
They're going to like keep it dark. Yeah, You're right.
I feel like their lights, they just want to lure you out where they are and then turn you around, and then you lost 5 hours of... Yeah. Like, I would probably die, just being real. I have no sense of direction. Like, if I got lost out there, are you kidding me?
You're
dark.
supposed to be the brave one. What do you...
Me?
Yeah.
I think so, but brave doesn't equal good at directions. You're the brains of the operation, so I need you there.
I just push you forward in the direction that we're supposed to go.
As long as you tell me where I'm supposed to go.
We're a dynamic duo in that sense.
That's teamwork.
Yeah. Our team will bring down their team.
I agree. Just me and you and your bug zapper.
Oh, God, they bring out the big guns. We're like, shit.
We're like, you know what? We're out of here.
We'll take a tie at this point.
You win.
No. Well, let's not accept defeat.
Okay, so in another eerie encounter, a group of hikers camping near Peralta Trailhead heard faint music carried on through the wind. An old, almost saloon-style piano tune from the 1800s. As they listened, the music grew louder, accompanied by the sound of distant voices. They grabbed their flashlights and scanned the surrounding hills, but nothing. The music faded away just as suddenly as it had started, leaving the group unsettled and ready to leave by dawn.
By dawn? Immediately.
Okay, this last one I wrote really fast as I was listening to it, but it's a little different, okay? So
I'm excited.
Wait, you ready?
Okay, never mind.
So there's also theories of lizard people living underneath the superstitions. So like reptilian people. And I don't know if
aren't reptilians alien?
That's what I'm not sure if it's the same thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
Are they considered like a cryptid?
I don't know. Because I feel like, they are a type of alien.
I know they're for sure a type of alien, but...
Lizard people? Yeah, I don't know if they're different.
Okay.
But maybe that's something
equally scary, though, probably.
Still scary.
Yeah.
So there's a story that a woman, she was hiking Superstition Mountains, and she got to the very top, and then she saw this, like, light flickering across the valley at another mountain, and she climbs down the mountain and goes up that mountain.
What is with these people and just following random lights? Like, don't.
I feel like she almost thought it was like maybe a hiker asking for help. Like,
yeah,
because she describes it as like a mirror reflecting.
Yeah, you're right.
And I probably wouldn't do it. I'd probably just call for help. But so she hikes down and goes up to that mountain, and she gets up by where the shiny thing was. She ends up tripping and falling into a cave. And so she falls flat on her back, and when she looks up, she sees a lizard person.
What does a lizard person look like?
Have you been to that the UFO exhibit in Scottsdale?
Does that sound like something?
Yes.
No, I have not.
I've been twice. And I'll go again if you want to go. We should go. Let's go.
Okay.
Because they have like it's really cool. They have like all the different kinds of aliens. They have all these different stories. You can listen to phone calls that people called in about UFO. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah. Again, I feel like I do this all the time where I say something and I sound like a total asshole, but it's like, does that sound like something I would do? You're like, yeah, kind of does.
It does, but I get the scary factor.
Yeah. But yes, I'm down to go.
Okay.
And then if I tap out, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm almost done, but so she trips and then she sees the lizard man. And the next thing she knows, she's on the Apache Trail and she's driving back to Apache Junction. And she lost all this time and she doesn't know what happened.
Whoa.
So weird. And I don't know. That area is just like I said, there's so many caves and crevices and stuff. Like, what is like in the middle? And I feel like you have to be a really experienced hiker to actually do that, like to figure out like how to get, you know what I mean? Because there's distinct trails that are really cool. But
yeah, I remember going hiking with one of my friends who I used to play soccer with, and we were hiking. She lives out by the Superstition, and she's like, yeah, it's like super haunted. I'm like, cool. I'm so happy you told me that. Like
you're like, thanks.
Well into the hike. She's like, yeah, people disappear here all the time. I'm like,
I know. It's crazy though that they disappear like that.
Yeah.
There was also another thing I didn't write down, but they said there'd be like a shadow army of like Apache people. I think they just assumed it was Apache, but it'd be like this army of like a tribe that they would see at night.
Oh wow.
And that's another theory they have, is that there is like a whole tribe that kind of lives in there and protects the place, and that's why these hikers go missing, which I feel like maybe, like, you never know, because it is their gold, it's their land and everything. So
I feel like it's like what that woman was telling us about when we went to the tea party, where like they are very respectful of the home. And then there was like one person who like wasn't respectful of the home, and that was the only incident that they've ever had of somebody saying like they felt like an aggressive presence.
Yeah.
And so like it's them being like, okay, if you're going to be disrespectful to like our land, maybe this is like a wild theory, but
no, I agree. I think that like whether it's supernatural or it's really a person or something, I think you should have respect going there, because at the end of the day, it's their gold, nobody else's.
Yeah.
And like, just enjoy the beauty of the superstitions and like the mystery. You don't need to go looking for like their stuff.
Exactly. And there's a reason it was hidden, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That was really good.
Oh, thank you. It was fun to write. There's like so many theories.
Yeah. I could tell like when she said that she was doing it, like her whole face lit up. She's like, I'm doing the superstitions.
I feel like I've watched so many videos on it just because it's so close to us.
Yeah.
And I mean, the name itself, like the superstitions, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
But yeah, there's so many other stories. So even if you just type it into YouTube of people's personal stories and stuff. Yeah.
So cool. I loved it.
Do we want to take a break before we get into it? Okay.
We're back from our break.
Uh-huh.
It is really weird seeing like
I know
you because you're like,
because I feel like sometimes I look here and I'm like looking at you here and then I'm like here. We'll get used to it over time. It's fine.
Bear with us. Okay, so I've got something to tell you.
Yay.
Okay. So have you ever lived alone? But
no.
you have like spent nights by yourself, like in the house and stuff. What's the thing that like immediately comes to mind of like what would be the scariest thing that would happen while you're?
I kind of go back and forth between like, because we have security cameras. So when I hear things, I'll imagine someone like opening the window in one of the rooms at the door shut. I'm like, I wouldn't even know. But then my mind will go to like, but then what if it's like a ghost and like, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's immediately someone breaking in or then it goes to a ghost, which is like kind of cool.
Well, so basically my thing was always like, because I lived by myself for years and like I always like deadlocked everything, like would sleep with my door closed and locked, and like I would sleep with the TV on so that I wouldn't like hear like the noises and stuff. But yes, the number one thing is always like somebody breaks into your house.
Yeah.
So I was oh wait, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
I was like getting ready.
Okay, so this isn't the story I'm going to cover, but this is the story that inspired me to tell this one. So my mom had a friend. She was a coworker, but also a friend, and beautiful woman. Like she always described her. She was like always like dressed to the nines, and she would wear heels like everywhere. Like that was her thing. Like she could not wear flats. It was always heels.
That's cute.
I know. And so she lived on her own, and she gets home from work one day and she goes into her closet. She's taking off her heels and she goes to like put them in, you know, your little shoe rack.
Yeah.
And she looks over and she sees 2 feet sticking out from under her clothes. And
like, what do you do in that moment?
So she takes off and she looks behind her and all she sees is a man's silhouette in the doorway.
Ew.
Yeah. So this is obviously not the story I'm going to cover, but what...
Wait, so that was a friend your mom knew?
A friend my mom knew. I know. She has a couple other stories about this friend that maybe I'll...
That was weird. Spooky, but okay. Big ominous. I bet you probably saw that on the camera too.
If not, get your security cameras.
I know. The window just like there was a big shadow that went by.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Maybe it was Mothman.
It was Seb. But anyway, so like I always remember the story. My mom told it to me like a while ago. And when I was trying to think of what I wanted to cover, I immediately like I don't know what sparked that, but I thought of it. And so this story is on theme with living alone and your biggest nightmare happening. I am going to be covering the survival story of Jennifer Morey.
Oh, okay. I like that it's a survival story.
It's a survivor story, but I'm not.
But it's a lot.
It's a lot. Okay. So setting the scene, it's 1995 and Jennifer Morey was 25 years old. She had just started her career and she is actually a lawyer in Houston, Texas, which I feel like 25, you're already a lawyer? Like,
yeah, damn.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, because law school, doesn't it take like a long
forever,
time?
Yeah.
So genius.
Yeah. But this is the first time that she is going to be living alone. So she's looking for apartments in Houston, again, starting off her career, her independency and all of that stuff. And so she's very particular about safety. She spent quite a bit of time looking for apartments until she found one that she really liked. It's a gated community. It's very quiet. And she immediately just said, like, I feel very comfortable here. But before making any final decision, she brought her dad along to take a look. And I was like, I feel like I would do that too.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah. And her dad loves it. The complex, or the apartment complex, has 24-hour security with a guard patrolling the property at all times, which I was like, duh, that's what 24 hours mean. It also has deadbolts on the windows and the doors. So you'll see sometimes with like sliding doors, people put like the stick.
Yeah. We had one in our house. I mean, we still have it, but I don't really use it.
Taylor.
I guess I should.
Yeah. Let's we'll take care of that after the record.
Yeah.
But so like the entire setup like gives him peace of mind. Like she's 25 years old, but this is still his little girl. And,
yeah.
You know. But he felt very confident that his daughter would be safe living in this complex. Also, what stood out to him was that the fact that the security guards were from Pinkerton Security. Do you know what Pinkerton security is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I asked, he's my husband. I'm going to talk about him a lot.
That's okay.
But I was like, I asked Kyle, do you know what Pinkerton was or is? And he was like, just rambling off facts. I'm like, okay, so this is important to the story.
He knows a lot of like random stuff.
I know.
But it comes in handy.
It does. I'm like, is this important to add? If he knows it, I feel like it is.
Yeah.
But so Pinkerton was and still is one of the most renowned names in private security.
Mm-hmm.
They date all the way back to 1850.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
A security company?
Mm-hmm. So they were famous for guarding U.S. presidents. They're also one of the first companies that did like private security. So it would be like now if you're looking for a bodyguard, like back then they were the only one that would be able to like offer you a bodyguard. So
Dang. That's crazy.
They're very like well renowned. With the Pinkerton name comes a lot of respect in the security game.
I did not know that.
Neither did I.
Good to know.
I know. Also, cool fun fact is that the term private eye comes from Pinkerton.
Really?
Because their logo was like an eye, a single eye that was open.
Uh-huh.
And they did private investigators.
Oh, wait. So like the letter I and the little circle is an eyeball? Wait, is that what you said?
Well, private eye, like an actual eye, is like a saying.
Yeah.
And that's where that name comes from. But
PI,
I think you're thinking PI with private investigator.
Well, I was thinking private eye, like their logo could be like the eye and the dot would be an eye.
Oh, no, it's an eye.
Well, never mind. Wait.
We'll talk to their branding company. Okay, well, I thought it was a cool fact. Anyways, so Jennifer's dad, knowing that Pinkerton was managing the security, like he loves that there's already like 24-hour security, but the fact that Pinkerton on top of this is the security company,
like he's feeling good about it.
He feels very good, and he's like, girl, like go for it.
Oh.
He told her it was a great choice, and Jennifer is thrilled to have her new home. So on the evening of April 15th, 1995, Jennifer gets a call from a friend at around like 10 p.m. asking her to come out and meet a bunch of her girlfriends at a bar. Mm-hmm. And Jennifer's kind of like reluctant. She's like, it's 10. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I feel that.
I'd be like, obviously, but she's 25. Like, so give her some, Mm-hmm. But so she does go out and she meets up with the friends, and she ends up staying out longer than she planned to. Like she actually, she's reluctant, but she had more fun than she expected to. So she's staying out with them a little bit longer.
Yeah.
One of her girlfriends drives her home and walks her to her apartment. When she gets home, she makes sure that all the doors and windows are locked, and then she washes her face and goes to bed. And this is around like 1 a.m. when she goes to sleep. Mm-hmm. I warned you I know it's a Survivor, but it's going to be okay. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay. At around 4 a.m., Jennifer wakes up to a weight on her chest. And she's fully asleep, so it takes her a minute to realize. But once she does, it's horrifying. The weight on her chest is a man that is straddling her, and he's trying to pull her clothes off.
Ew.
I'm gonna quote her, I survived. Mm-hmm. She does do an episode of I Survived. But in the episode, she vividly remembers that the hair on his legs were scratching her legs. And it's just like, ew.
Yeah, that's gross.
But she describes that was one of like, because again, she's waking up. Like that was one of the things that like realizing this is a human on top of me.
Okay.
Yeah. The man starts yelling at her, Jennifer, be quiet. And she was like, this man knows me. Yeah. How does he know me? Mm-hmm. And she's trying to think of ways she can identify him. So she's kind of like trying to take like contextual clues. Mm-hmm. She is also still sort of like waking up. So she's assessing exactly what's going on. She's realizing she's under attack. Like, what is the next step that I take? So she could feel his hands on her throat and her face. And so she reaches up and she can feel that he's holding a knife to her neck. And the second that she touched his hand, he becomes enraged.
Oh my God.
Now the fight begins. And Jennifer was not going to back down. She starts screaming, scratching, and fighting back. In I Survived, she says, I knew this was going to end with one of us winning and one of us losing. So it's a fight for her life.
Yeah.
Also during the attack, it said that 15 of the 20 people in Jennifer's apartment said they heard her screams. Not a single one called the cops.
Are you serious? Like, why would you even admit to hearing her screams then? I feel like it looks worse for them.
Yeah. And like, I do think that there's a level of like fear calling 911. You know what I mean? Like, you're scared that you're going to be involved in like, so I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying like there's also like the bystander effect, which there's a really famous murder kitty who was like murdered in the streets and literally everybody in the entire apartment.
I heard that one. Yeah.
And so like people just assume somebody else is going to do something about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Even like car accidents and stuff. They're like, oh, somebody else got it.
Yeah. I will say that most or all like local police departments have a non-emergency line because I've had to call that before.
Yeah.
And like if that, my PSA moment, if that makes you feel more comfortable, call the non-emergency line. Like I've had to call that before. And if you're not comfortable like speaking to the police, they will make sure that that it gets to the appropriate departments. So you can just literally Google on your phone non-emergency contact.
You can text too, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think I've seen that. I've never actually used it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, I had to do it for a dog that I saw on the freeway.
Oh.
Yeah. And it literally like fallen over like one of the bypasses.
Oh my God.
And then he was running across the freeway. So I called and they called me back later, you know, like
did they get him?
Yeah, they did say that the dog was taken care of. I mean, I hope they weren't lying, but
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So again, just my moment of don't be the person that doesn't call. If you hear something, please, please, please do something about it. Okay. So like I said, now the man is pissed and he's screaming at her more. And she is just thinking, if she doesn't get out of this, I need to leave DNA. I need to leave evidence behind. So she is scratching him and making sure she leaves as many like defensive wounds as she possibly can. So that if she doesn't survive, they can find him. Again, she's a lawyer, so she knows.
Super smart.
Yeah. Which so sad that I even had to cross her mind. Yeah. But so the man then takes the knife that he was holding to Jennifer's throat and he slices her from the right side of her eye to the middle of her neck, almost cutting her neck so deep her throat was almost completely open.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Jennifer felt the blood pouring down her neck, but even then she would not stop fighting. So eventually though, because she's just fighting back, for some reason, he grabs Jennifer, he takes her directly to the bathroom and he throws her in there and he tells her not to move. Jennifer immediately closes the door and locks the door, but realizes that if he wants to he's a large man too. So she realizes like if he wants to break the door down, like she's already had the rage that he has built up. So this podcasts aren't visual, but we got video today.
So, put this clip in there.
She like lodges herself against the wall, like she lodges herself against the door. So her back is on the door and she has her feet up against the wall and she's just pushing. Like if he comes back and tries to break the door down, I am braced and I am ready to keep him from getting in here. She's also bleeding profusely. So she grabs a washcloth and she just holds it onto her neck, trying to lessen the bleeding. She finally hears the man moving around in her apartment, and she hears him zip up his pants, and then she hears the front door close. So moments go by and she's debating with herself, but she finally makes the brave decision, without really knowing if he's actually gone, but that she's going to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
So she like dislodges herself from that like position that she's in of bracing the door.
Yeah.
And she goes to turn the handle of the door, but her hands are so bloody that she can't get a grip on the doorknob.
My gosh.
She has also pushed her back so hard on the door that it's jammed closed.
The door?
The door.
Oh.
Like, just imagine that, like, fear. And so you're putting your whole body into that door to keep it, like, this man is not going to get back to me. But at this point, she actually starts laughing.
What?
And I feel like it's you and I when we have, like, when we're talking about really disturbing things, like the nervous laughter.
Yeah, I get that. Do that quite a bit.
Yeah, but so she's like, I just fought for my life, and now I'm going to bleed to death in my bathroom because I can't get the freaking door open.
Seriously, though.
And I was like, I sort of love her finding, I mean, it's a dark humor, but it's some humor.
I mean, if she could find that humor
in
it, being in that position.
So she's trying everything she can, and she finally gets the door to open. And she talks about it. She's like, I literally was just like pulling, swiveling, like whatever I could possibly do to get that door open. She's like, all that work I did to get it closed. So she explains that she crawled out and she says, hello. And then she goes, again, why am I sending a greeting to this guy?
I feel like that sounds like something you would do. And then be like, wait, what am I doing?
But again, she's like, this is such a dark story, but she's trying to find some, like, she's finding humor in it. And I was just like, oh. But there's no reply. So thank God. Yeah. Oof. So she reaches for the light switch and the lights won't turn on. Again, nervous laughter. But in her I Survived, she goes, so the lights won't turn on when she hits the switch. And she goes, did I not pay the bill? And of all nights, they decide to turn on lights.
She's like, this is my night, man.
One hell of a night.
Jesus.
Luckily she does have a cell phone and it's charged, and I was like, okay, reminder
take the win.
Yeah. I was like, reminder to charge my phone.
Yeah. Are you one of those people that lets your phone die?
100%. I mean, you just had to plug my phone in because it was almost dead.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering. I always have to have my phone charged. It's like always at 100%.
I'm one of those people that I will drive on empty on my gas because I'm like, it says 20 more miles. Like, same with my phone.
I'm the complete opposite with both of those. It would give me too much anxiety to be like, if my car just stops in the middle of the street, like, push it. Yeah. Anyway.
It's never died. And it does have gas right now. So that's
okay. Well,
yeah. But because we drove it last night to go bowling and Kyle drove, so he got me gas.
Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna. Never mind.
What?
Okay, well, I had to do with the gas. Remember when you told me that your gas tank, it said you had like a certain amount of miles and then it changed?
Oh, yeah.
It said it had less and then it had more.
Yeah.
Mine did that too the other day. Yeah. And I was like, how is that possible?
I wonder if it's like the fumes or something. Because I don't know.
Yeah. Off topic. Anyway, moving on.
But yes, I do remember that because I was like, I have enough to get to Taylor's, and all of a sudden I didn't, and then I did again.
You're like, great. Moving through the motions of travel.
Okay, so she has opened the door. All of the lights aren't working. Mm-hmm. She's got her cell phone now, and she sits on the sofa and she's like starting to think through things of like, oh my God, what if he actually still is in the house or in the apartment? Like, what if he's behind the sofa? What if he's in the closet? But she's like, I just have to call like 911.
Yeah, just call.
I can't think about all of these what ifs. I need to get somebody on the line. And so Jennifer calls 911, and this call is haunting.
Really?
Yeah. So the 911 operator picks up, and it opens up with Jennifer saying, please help me. This guy just tried to cut my throat. And the dispatcher, like, that's all she says. And the dispatcher is like, ma'am? Like, huh? What do you mean? And she says, there's blood everywhere. I'm covered in blood. She is crying, screaming. He knew my name. I don't know who it was. I know I locked the door. I don't know how he got in. So this stood out to me because it's like she's almost blaming herself when she did everything right. Like,
yeah, because the door was locked. Yeah.
And she's freaking out. She's like, he knew my name. How did he know my name?
Yeah. Valid question.
Yeah. And this is obviously not her fault.
Yeah.
And so
definitely.
A little bit about the 911 operator. His name is Richard Everett, and this is his first night and his first shift as a 911 operator.
Gosh.
And this is the
what
first
a call
call
to get.
Yeah. But he is a goddamn freaking angel.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's okay. So at one point during the call, Jennifer is crying and asks, why would anybody do something like this? And Richard, which again, I feel like this was the right response because Jennifer's kind of like internal humor with herself. He goes, we have some crazy people in this world. And he says it in a really like warm way. I said it a little like sarcastically, but he says it in like a really warm way. He's just trying to calm her down.
To keep her calm. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the call, I feel like that moment is where she finally actually does start to calm down. And she's even apologizing. She's like, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm calm. Like, okay. And also, like I said, she's also having her own like inner joke. So I feel like him kind of
matching her energy a little bit. Yeah.
He was just saying like all the right things and this like really like kismet type of way. Like out of anybody, he was the right person that she got. So she's on the phone with Richard and she describes him as the only safety that she had and that she felt that she had found a friend.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
So after about 15 minutes on the 911 call with Richard, Jennifer gets a knock on her door and she exclaims, they're here, thinking it's the police.
Oh, no.
And Richard says, no, I'm tracking the police, the ambulance, and the fire department, and they're not there yet. Jennifer then calls out to the person knocking on the door, and the man says he's security for the apartment complex. And Richard is on the phone listening to all of this, and he says, we haven't notified your building. And he's like, something doesn't feel right. And he goes, don't you open that door. The person at the door is saying that he saw a man jump from Jennifer's second-story apartment and that the man also attacked him. He's security and he wants to make sure that she's okay. Richard is on with Jennifer and she's freaking out because she's losing a lot of blood and starting to get lightheaded. She's obviously very scared. And Richard says, I'm so sorry, but do not open that door.
Yeah.
Richard is watching the police and he's saying they are 3 minutes away. She's going to be fine, but do not open the door until they get there. Sorry, I just gave myself chills.
Yeah, no, I feel like you just gave them to me. You like transferred them over.
So the knocking on the door is now turning into pounding. And the man is being very persistent that he needs to get in to make sure that she's okay. He's like, I'll show you my badge. And so she has this man yelling at her.
Same anger.
And so he's being very aggressive, which like in a moment where somebody is scared, you don't show aggression towards them.
Also, a security guard doesn't have like the right to just bust through the door.
Exactly.
I mean, police officers can't even do that. Yeah.
And so he's now like being like, let me in. And she's like, police are on their way. And he's like, okay, well, let me in. And
no.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so she has this man yelling at her. She is bleeding from her face and her neck. And all she's listening to is Richard and just his calming voice, like, don't let him in. They're 2 minutes away. They're 1 minute away. They're driving up your driveway. Like, they are right there. And she gets to a point where she's so scared because she's lost all of this blood. She's getting lightheaded. And she says, I need to get word to my mother. She says, my mom is going to be heartbroken and I'm so sorry, but especially if I die.
That's so sad.
And it's again like her, like she's blaming herself. Like
she's already like apologizing for what it's going to cause her mom to feel from her passing away.
Yeah. But in that exact moment, Richard finally says, they're there. You're going to be okay.
Oh, Richard.
I tried.
Love him.
I know. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm really.
It's okay. Don't have to apologize for being emotional here.
Jennifer can hear more voices outside of her door, and Richard confirms they are the police and that she is safe. She opens the door and immediately collapses in the apartment hallway. She can hear them all talking, and she overhears the police officers talking about the injuries that the security guard that was knocking on her door said he had received, and she starts to cry.
Oh.
She feels bad that he was hurt from this incident.
The security guard? Because it was her who did it, right? Because he was the guy, right? Or wait. No? You're wrong.
Oh my God, why are you a detective?
Sorry.
She doesn't know that yet, though.
Oh, I thought she knew.
She just felt bad that somebody else got hurt.
Okay. I thought she knew because he was being so aggressive that it was the same guy.
No.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. You're putting the pieces together. So the security guard is Brian Gibson, and he told police that he had seen a man running away from Jennifer's apartment and he had tried to stop him. He had cuts and scratches all over his arms and chest. So when officers don't
I wait for those word mess
the
ups.
word fumbles
Because I do them all the time.
Again, there's a lot of talking in podcasting.
It is.
So when officers enter Jennifer's apartment, they find a knife, a pair of men's underwear, a belt, and a Pinkerton security hat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the police are like, hey, Brian.
You left your undies in the house.
Captain Underwear.
Come on, man.
So they take him to the police department. First, they have him take off his boots, and which that reveals that he has white socks on that are splattered with blood.
Ooh.
Yeah. He is also not wearing any underwear. And he has
sick.
Yeah. Gross. He has way more defensive wounds all over his body than he originally showed the police. And he's also missing a security hat.
Mm-hmm.
He had also shaved his genitals, which generally shows preemptive, like, planning to commit assault because they don't want to leave.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I wrote, basically, if you wanted to dress up as this guy for Halloween, he left all the essentials in the apartment.
You got the undies,
Yeah.
the Pinkerton.
Yeah. Scumbag.
Yeah.
Jennifer says that, so he was the one obviously knocking on her door, and Jennifer says that she believes if she had opened that door, he would have killed her because he
Totally.
knew the police were coming and he knew what he left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer is rushed to the hospital and immediately underwent surgery for the wound on her neck. Afterwards, the officers who had responded to the scene, they all came to visit her.
Oh,
I
I
know.
love that.
And they were like, girl, you put up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, she did.
They did say that there was blood everywhere. Like the apartment was covered in blood, obviously, especially like, I know this is a weird fact, but yeah, like head wounds and anything like on the face or neck bleeds a lot because there are so many arteries there.
Ugh. Yeah.
So, Jennifer said, you know how she said the quote that there was the fight and somebody was going to win and lose?
Mm-hmm.
She says, I did put up a hell of a fight and I won.
Good. Yes, she did.
Yes, you did. Doctors later explained just how close Jennifer came to losing her life. And there were incredible things that happened. Like so many things that like could have happened that she would have immediately died.
Mm-hmm.
So the cut near her eye, it missed the eye by millimeters. Any closer and it would have she would have lost her entire vision and functionality of that eye.
Oh my gosh.
The slash on her neck missed arteries that would have killed her instantly.
Really?
Yes. And then also part of the attack on her, Brian had tried to stab her directly in the neck, like straightforward instead of slashing.
Yeah.
But Jennifer was wearing a gold necklace that her mother had given her. And that piece of jewelry deflected the knife by just enough that he wasn't able to penetrate her.
Dang. So it like saved her life.
It saved her life.
That reminds me of the Night Stalker.
Mm-hmm, with the keys.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Meant to be.
Meant to be. So Brian Gibson is arrested and charged with attempted murder. He was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison.
That's it.
That's it. He's also out on parole right now.
Right now?
Right
like
now.
Today?
Mm-hmm. It's been 20 years.
Oh. What's his name? Richard?
Brian Gibson.
Oh, Richard was the one on the phone. Brian Gibson. Okay.
Yeah.
Where does this story take place?
Texas.
Okay. Oh, it's kind of close.
Yeah. I got 2 big dogs, Brian.
Yeah.
And a knuckle sandwich waiting for you. Jennifer Morey, she faced a long and difficult, obviously, road to recovery. She was crippled with fear, nightmares, and she also had a lot of, obviously, like trust issues because this is a security guard and
yeah,
the whole thing was about safety for her. And
they literally they checked all the boxes for her moving into that place, and it still just takes one person.
She says, for a long time, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't go anywhere alone. I was constantly looking over my shoulder. So she's just like, there's stories where she could not sleep at night. So she would just walk around the house, like checking things.
Aww.
And that she would sometimes call 911 because she would hear noises and it would scare her so bad that she would just.
Yeah.
Which, like, fair.
Yeah.
You know?
Very valid.
However, Jennifer didn't let the trauma define her. Over time, she found strength and healing, and she realized she had a story worth sharing, which we also found worth sharing.
Yeah.
So she wanted to take her trauma and make it into something that could help others. She is now an advocate for personal safety and security, sharing her experience to raise awareness about trusting your instincts and taking precautions to protect yourself. She speaks out about the importance of being prepared and not taking your personal safety for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer often emphasizes how critical it is to listen to your gut feelings, which I love because I am always like, trust your freaking gut. Like, again, with that non-emergency line, don't question it. If you feel like something is wrong, do something.
Yeah.
You don't have to be comfortable. Like, if somebody is making you uncomfortable, get out of there.
Yeah. Like, leave immediately.
Yeah. Protect yourself. Apologize later.
Or don't. Yeah.
You don't owe anybody an apology. If anything, just punch them right in the face.
Yeah. I mean, if they made you uncomfortable, they made you uncomfortable.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
She also works to empower survivors of violence with stories of her own journey and that healing is possible. And no matter how dark things may seem, there is light on the other side.
Oh. You okay?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Jennifer is not just a story of horror and resilience. What I find personally so beautiful is what she overcame to be the absolute badass that she is. Not only did it take an insurmountable amount of strength to fight back, but to overcome the fear that she faces every day and to use that to inspire others. The incredible heart she has is what makes her strong, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
Jennifer has said, I don't think I was strong, but I was stronger than I ever imagined. And I just love that because
I do too. Because I mean, like, all of the thoughts that went through her head as this was happening, from like thinking about her mom to thinking about like she needed to make sure she scratched him enough so that if she did die, then like they would catch this guy.
Yeah.
Like jamming the door with herself, using the towel, like so many things going through her mind.
She's
and like problem solving and yeah. Crazy.
This one gets
it's okay.
Also, remember Richard Everett, the 911 operator? They stay in touch, and in 2002, Jennifer got married and Richard attended.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say she married. No. But I love that he attended. That's so sweet.
They are lifelong friends.
Oh my gosh. I love that story. That was so good. I was on the edge of my seat.
I was practicing earlier. I was like, don't cry. And then of course
it's hard not to when you know something's gonna trigger you to cry. You did so good though. That was such a good story.
Thanks.
I loved it.
Shout out to my mom for
inspiring it.
Yeah. I know. We've had almost everybody on my feature. Yeah.
I need my dad to, he has some ghost stories. Maybe the next one. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, that story was really good.
Thanks. Well, reminder, guys, to send us your stories.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to spell it? IGSTTY stories STORIES @gmail.com.
Yes.
And then follow us on Instagram and TikTok at IGSTTY pod on both of those platforms.
And then feel free to like rate the podcast on Apple and Spotify or wherever you listen.
Don't feel free. Do it.
Please do it. We're trying to grow this thing. We love telling stories.
We do love telling stories.
You like hearing them, go ahead and leave some ratings. And then again, this is going to be a visual podcast. Well, there's going to be clips.
Well, we're going to wait and see how I feel about that. I'm looking directly into the camera.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see what
that's fair.
Yeah, my insecurities can deal with.
Either way, there will be some at some point, whether it's this episode or another one.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening.
Later.
Until next time.